Hey guys, Blue here. Today we're going to be talking about how the design of eyes affect a character in general. So we are diving more into the character design aspect of the series. Now, eyes are considered the windows to the soul, and it's no exception in art. This is very evident if you take a look at current media, whether it is from a favorite cartoon you're watching, an anime series, or just art in general where there is a character featured and the artist is trying to convey their personality through a piece that is not moving. Now, it is both able to be shown in both realistic and stylistic sort of art. The appearance of the character ties into the eyes when it comes to personality, no matter how small these tiny little lookers are, and compared to the rest of the body and size. Now, the first factor that affects a character's appearance is the shape of the eyes. As you might notice in a lot of popular media, that eyes when they're drawn, sometimes they have little differences from each other. And these, although small little differences, do add into showing how a character looks. And as sometimes if you look online, sometimes people talk about eye shape, these also play a factor when it comes to an appearance of a character overall and how you convey their personality. The first eye shape that I'll be talking about is not more focused on shape, but more on size when compared to the rest of the face in proportions, as this plays a really important role when it comes to later on when you're trying to portray a character's personality through their eyes. So big eyes are often seen as open, friendly, and approachable, and at the same time can be seen as naive or innocent depending on how your character is overall. You can see in popular media that characters that are naive or friendly are often portrayed with wider eyes, and these are most prominent when you take a look at characters who are very open, very friendly, and also in a lot of children when they are being drawn, especially if you take a look at any sort of more on the cartoon side of characters, for example anime and other cartoons. You may notice that children are often drawn with bigger eyes as they are portrayed to be very naive. Now, another type of eye shape is more like size. It's the opposite of the one we just discussed, which is small eyes. Now, characters that are drawn with smaller eyes compared to the portions of their body sometimes can be seen as calmer and being more careful, and often more in control of their situation or themselves, and mostly portrayed as someone who knows what they're doing and have planned ahead. Usually in popular media, small eyes, eyes that are drawn just smaller in general compared to the rest of the face, is often portrayed as a character who is a bit on the more cooler side, calmer, and just in control of themselves. Sometimes you would see them drawn as maybe businessmen, just people who know what the heck they're doing and just has that control and that sort of calmness to them. Now, when it comes to drawing characters and designing an eye with them for eye shape, usually the big eyes and the small eyes sometimes don't really translate as well, given that it might be a particular art style where the eyes are just more proportionate, for example, more realistic proportions, or sometimes your character is just the way you draw is just they all have around a similar size eyes and it doesn't really work. So the next one would be round eyes. Now, round eyes just mean the eye is generally more of a round shape, and characters with round eyes are often seen to be very expressive, cheerful, and sensitive, since those eyes, when they're drawn, they're often very expressive and very transparent of a character's emotions, since the slightest change can be more obvious given it's usually pretty round. Now, characters with these eyes are in a way similar to characters with big eyes. They're very open, they're very friendly, and they're very approachable. And they are often very, very innocent sometimes, or just naive, depending on how you portray them. But yeah, so round eyes are often just very open characters. Next, we have the long eyes. And by long eyes, it's more so generally, it's not as round and it's a bit more stretched out along the wider side. So when it comes to long eyes can give the feel of someone who is more meticulous and adept. So they giving a similar calm feel to smaller eyes. The characters are often portrayed as someone who is calm, under control, and know what they're doing. But yet sometimes, depending on a character, long eyes can give the feel of someone who is a schemer. But that depends on how the long eyes are portrayed with the rest of the features of the character, along with just the general vibe you want to go with for this character. Otherwise, usually long eyes, sometimes more rectangular, are shown to be characters who are more rigid, more calm, more cool, and just know what the heck they're doing. Now we have something that is more akin to the tilt of the eyes. So as in, are they drooping? Are they upturned? And honestly, what I mean is like generally when you draw the eye, when the line is going across from one corner of the eye to the other, is it going from uphill, downhill, or downhill, uphill, like the diagonal line? So now when it comes to drooping eyes, I mean when it goes that the corner of the eye that's closest to the nose goes down, slanting downwards towards the corner that's on the outside of the eyes. Now, drooping eyes give the feel that the character is more cautious, like a deer in headlights. There's this hesitation or indecisiveness that can be interpreted with a cautious nature. However, they are also portrayed as someone who's very kind and very shy. So sometimes, also depending on that character you want to portray, it can give you a very timid feel, like someone who is easily startled. Now the last shape for the eyes is the upturned eyes. Now by upturned, I mean the inner corner of the eye, so the two corners of the eyes closest to the nose is lower than the corner of the eye away from the nose. In these cases, upturned eyes can be seen with a character who is quick-witted and very straightforward, confident in themselves, and just know what they're doing. Depending on the overall portrayal of a character, it can be seen as arrogance. It can give that vibe, that feel of being an arrogant person. These eyes can be of someone who may not give up on an opportunity to gain a better chance for themselves depending on the context. Upturned eyes are usually the eyes that are more, usually drawn more for characters that are like, I guess, main protagonists because they have that determination to get something done and they know they can do it. Now, there are obviously more types of eyes than just the 6 that I've talked about because there's all sorts of shapes you can go with when it comes to eyes. However, these 6 are like some of the basic ones I usually use when it comes to designing characters, as I find them a very good base to start off of what you want to portray through the eyes of your character. Now you can always mix and combine these shapes or these like sort of these little minuscule changes of these eye shapes to form what could be a more accurate portrayal of your character. Though do be careful that sometimes things may get lost in translation if you try to combine too many or if the two are slightly opposite. For example, you want to have big round eyes but they're a bit narrower. Sometimes some things can get lost. Now there are more than just the 6 types as I said before, and these are just some basic ones to get you started, and you can always just go and just make adjustments to fit however you want to portray that character through their set of eyes. Now, no pair of eyes are complete without their eyebrows. So our next factor is how are the eyebrows when paired with the eyes? How are they arched? Usually characters with fully downward arches, for example, give them this sort of beat down shy look. Like when they go down, it's like those characters that are usually shy, timid, their eyebrows are usually drawn to be tilting downwards instead of up. And paired with big eyes, you get something that's similar to like puppy eyes. And with a stronger and arched downward eyebrows, the big eyes have a sturdier feel, but still have that kindness often portrayed with the round eyes. Furrowed eyebrows paired with a pair of more rectangular, smaller eyes can give off a more stern and rigid personality. Lowered eyebrows with dark circles underneath can portray a consistently tired character. Personally, I put the eyebrows in a few basic categories. The first category of eyebrows is the normal arching eyebrows. They just go up and down. They don't really have a specific tilt, and they're just normal arching eyebrows, like they just got your normal arch. Now, they're eyebrows that follow the basic shape, and they are often giving more of a relaxed look for the character, and makes them feel more that they are on the more easygoing side, often more open-minded, and just in general just laid back and relaxed. Next, we have the outwards arching eyebrows. That was a mouthful. That was a horrible name I give, but the idea is that the arch only goes downwards from the start rather than reaching a high point. So the start of the eyebrows is the highest point of your eyebrow. So they give that more shy and innocent feel to a character, though there may be a bit of uncertainty depending on the character. It gives them that sort of timid feel where they are a bit unsure of themselves, yet they are shy and they are very innocent and kind, willing to help. Now we have the upwards arching eyebrows, so the opposite of the outwards arching eyebrows. Gosh dang, I need a better name for that. But basically they have a high point of the eyebrow somewhere in the middle, and then they go down. They have that strong arch, that very strong arch. So these guys usually give that character a confident and clever look when paired with certain shaped eyes. And giving that feel, the character is more ambitious, who is confident that they can do well. It gives them that confident feel, that strong, confident, I know what I am doing feel. And now we go on to a different category, which is not arched eyebrows. They're the flatter eyebrows. And by flatter, I mean like the arch of the eyebrows isn't as prominent as the previous ones. Like those are kind of like a bit of a rainbow, but this one is more of your kind of, I got some paper and it just lifted it up a tiny bit in the middle sort of thing. So it just gives a small little arch. And just by the way, if you choose to draw it at an angle or not, you get some very interesting new sets of varieties. So neutral flat eyebrows give off the feel of being both cautious and gentle, but also strong at the same time. It just gives that sort of like sterner feel, but at the same time you're still that cautious and gentle person. Next up, we have flatter eyebrows, but at an angle upwards. So the end of the eyebrow is higher than the start of the eyebrow. These less angular brows have a feel of not just confidence, but bravery and seriousness. Those eyebrows mean business. They don't say we skittled at them. They mean serious business. The way these eyebrows are set, they give that rigid air of rules, yet the cautiousness of going about with the said rules. So they're rigid and stern, yet they are also very brave and confident as to what they're doing. Now, the flatter eyebrows angled downwards are very similar to the outwards arching eyebrows. Gosh dang, I need a better name for that. But the idea is that it still gives timidness, but there is a bit of rigidness to them instead of that overall softness. And having that shyness, but willing to speak up if it's a must and be serious about it. They will get to the point when they have to speak. Otherwise, they are still very shy and timid in general. Be aware, just as before, there are more than just these different shapes of eyebrows. There are many more, but these are some of the ones that I myself are more familiar with and use a lot when it comes to designing characters. And I often have fun messing around with these and then go out from there, as they're a really good base to start off of. And by mixing and matching them with the eye shapes, you get a plethora of personality conveyed with just two small body parts. You can get this sort of like strong way of just showing your character in that one panel, for example, of a comic with just their eyes. You can portray so much of their personality just with that one panel of just their eyes. Now, this isn't the end just yet. Just getting the shape of the eye and eyebrow down is just the very start of portraying your character's personality, because they give you an idea, but they don't fully communicate exactly what your character is like, which comes into our last part, expression. With the way the eyes are portrayed, you just sometimes they don't fully communicate that personality. You sometimes need to give it emotion to bring out that full personality. And it would really hit home sometimes when you establish it, and then when you do a specific expression, sometimes it really shows just how much that one event has affected a character. For example, you have a character that's very calm and usually never affected by anything. His eyes are often calm and has this relaxed look where they are like, for example, you got the narrower eyes and with the more relaxed arch of an eyebrow. He would give out that feel of being calmer and just in general being very chill and know what they're doing. However, if you draw his eyes suddenly blown wide instead of his usual relaxed shape and the eyebrows arching up, that totally shows they are surprised way out of their league. They were completely caught off guard instead of being in control like usual. Now you can really do this to show how much a situation can shake a character. And even if it is an expression that's really out of the blue or super blown out of proportions, the small changes to the eyebrows and eyes can communicate really strongly how a character is feeling at the time and just how they feel overall at times. Now this would come into more expression study and such, but some basic ideas can just be the small things of a simple little arch. Instead of just simply drawing your eye like the usual curve, you can draw arching a little up and the eyebrows arching a little up, and you get a little more of a happy expression, and so on. There are resources down which will be more in depth on this, as I am not that great with expressions. Now, there are a lot of things that can factor in the overall look to a character, and it's not just the eyes, but if you're just looking at the face in general, or just, for example, as I said before, a panel in a comic where it just shows your character's eyes and nothing else because that's all you want to reveal about a character, these are some really, eyes are the windows to the soul, and just by the way you draw them can really portray how, or make the reader or the viewer a certain way, a certain feel to that character, a sort of idea as to how this character is, without any words in just that one panel in a comic. Now, that's all for me for designing characters in regards to eyes. I hope this may help you with your own character designs. There are many resources down below to either help you practice different types of eyes or just to further the understanding of how the appearance of the eye overall affect the first impression for a character. And there are some bits in the articles that talk about expression, which is also a great help, and I'm just not really good with. So yeah. Anyways, I hope the resources down will help you out, and I hope this video helps you with a bit more of a general understanding of how it works, and that's all. Blue, out.